Level 1. Survival Mode. If you're living in survival mode, odds are you live in a third world country, ravaged by government corruption and gang violence. You probably live on a dirt floor with no electricity and no running water. If you're lucky enough to have a fire, it's probably the kind that's sitting on the floor rather than in a chimney. Work is done by hand, netting you a grand total of $2.15 per day. The World Health Organization estimates that approximately 700 million people globally, or 1 in 11 people, are surviving on less than $2.15 per day. Stretching $2.15 is a tough order. The standard for the United States is a little bit different, however. The U.S. Census Bureau defines deep poverty as living on less than 50% of the federal poverty line, which translates to an income below approximately $13,740 for a family of 4. So in the United States, even while in survival mode, you'll likely have a bit more money to help you on your journey. It's still not all sunshine and rainbows, though. Everyday life is still going to be a struggle. You're still going to have to make your unfair share of tough decisions. Like for dinner, you probably only have 2 choices: bread or sleep. Nutritious foods are definitely out of your budget. If you get sick or hurt, you're just going to have to hope that your immune system can handle it, because you likely can't afford a doctor either. It's a terrible situation to be stuck in, and sadly, your chances of escaping are slim to none. Odds are you, your kids, and even your kids' kids are going to end up being stuck in survival mode, and the cycle is just going to repeat for generations to come. Now, the reason why is mainly because of a lack of opportunity. You likely don't have easy access to clean water, healthcare, education, and are dealing with other factors like poor governance, war, domestic violence, and exploitation, which makes escaping survival mode very difficult to do. A sick parent or natural disaster could be catastrophic. In survival mode, you're always one unexpected crisis away from game over. Number 2. Poverty. While being in poverty still isn't great, you do likely have a few more advantages than the people who are in the survival mode category. You likely have better access to the basics like food, water, shelter, and even a smartphone. At this stage, the biggest obstacle in your life is likely the way your country's being run. You have the housing, the food, the water, the infrastructure, the technology, the electricity. But it's just not enough, and it's likely due to the way your government handles things. Just think about it. Most governments that run countries with large numbers of impoverished people do not have enough policies in place that would give them the upward mobility they need to improve. No country is safe, not even the wealthier ones. Even in the United States, there are policies that harm or even imprison the homeless. The truth is, most of your governments consist of people misusing their power in order to improve their own statuses. They're not trying to improve the lives of the poor. That costs money, and they would rather put that money into their own pockets. There is potential. It's just that your government sucks at, well, governing. Number 3. Broke. At this level, you likely live in a modern country. It's just that you're likely at or near the bottom of the totem pole. You're probably living paycheck to paycheck. Your savings account is non-existent, and you're contemplating whether or not you should spend your last few bucks on dinner for the night or on Fortnite skins. And we all know which is going to win. At this level, you likely have enough money to occasionally go out for food or drinks, but you also likely have extra optional debts like car payments, student loans, and credit card debt. You shouldn't really have a lot of these things, but depending on where you live, you almost have to indulge. Cars, college, and credit cards are deeply embedded within our society at this point. If you don't partake, you'd be missing out on potential opportunities that could help elevate your finances and status. So even though I initially said they were optional, it turns out they really aren't. At this level, you're pretty much just fighting to keep your head above water. If something bad happens, like your car breaks down, or you have to go to the emergency room for some reason, it would be a catastrophic hit to your finances. The only consistent way to escape this level is to get a better job. But good luck finding the time and money to do that. You already have to deal with the rising costs of rent, utilities, and food, not to mention whatever other debt you've been dealing with. The opportunity is there, but you're too preoccupied running this rat race to be able to seize it. Number 4. Middle class. This is where life really starts feeling comfortable. You can afford all the basics, but most importantly, you can buy whatever Fortnite skins you want. At this level, you probably aren't working a customer service job or anything like that. You're probably working some kind of skilled labor job. Or you could even be a nurse or attorney. At this level, in the United States, you're probably making somewhere between $50,000 to $200,000 per year, which would give you a good chunk of change to make sure you have all of your needs met, while also having enough money to live in a nice neighborhood, have fun on the weekends, go out to eat frequently, and go on vacations from time to time. Basically, you have enough to survive and thrive, but not enough to really be considered rich yet. It's probably going to take a bit more schooling or work experience to get you to that level. At this level, however, you have the cash flow and savings to be able to do what you need to do in order to elevate your status. Allocating some of your cash flow to pay for school or reducing your work hours to make time for school and temporarily relying on your savings are two realistic methods that everyday people use to make it happen. It's really about how you use what you currently have to your advantage. If you play your cards right, you might be able to save enough for retirement and even make your way to the next tier. Level 5, millionaire. At this level, your net worth is over $1 million. Your net worth is your assets, which is all of the stuff you own, minus your liabilities, which is all of the money you owe to other people, like loans, debt, taxes, and bills. At this level, you're probably working jobs with high earning potentials. Some jobs that are commonly associated with the potential to become a millionaire include engineer, accountant, pilot, doctor, and lawyer. At this level, you likely also have investments in the forms of stocks, second homes, and small businesses. At this level, you're likely very comfortable. You probably have a nice home, nice car, and can afford to go on frequent vacations. You probably don't have to worry about monthly bills, groceries, or other menial expenses, as you make more than enough to effortlessly take care of them. Nothing can stop your stride except for extremely poor financial decisions, like living well above your means, really poor investments, or even losing your job. When tragedy does strike, however, you'll still have plenty of money to keep yourself afloat. You may get knocked down a peg, but you'll still be in an infinitely better position than those in survival mode. Level 6, multi-millionaire. Let's say you've leveled up in the world of millionaires and have taken the next step to multi-millionaire. As a multi-millionaire, you're not just worth at least $1 million, but $2 million. It can even be $10 million or $100 million. Being a multi-millionaire isn't just about having a lot of money in your bank accounts, but having multiple investments that make up your net worth. You likely own multiple properties and own equity in multiple companies. You have access to the finer things in life, like fancy homes, luxury cars, and even memberships at extravagant clubs and resorts to mingle amongst your fellow multi-millionaires. Some of your fellow multi-millionaires may even be people in positions of power, so it'd be in your best interest to befriend them. Level 7, billionaire. There are only 2,781 billionaires in the world, the wealthiest ones being Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, Jeff Bezos, former CEO of Amazon, and Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta. At this level, it is no longer about the money, but about the power. Your friends are world leaders, politicians, and other influential people. Your money is as precious as their influence, and because of that, you now have influence. You're now one of the few people pulling the strings. You have the money to make history, usually to your own benefit. At this level, you have access to the finest things money can buy you. Mansions, supercars, private planes, yachts, and expensive jewelry can all be yours. Money is no object. At this level, you've won. You'll likely never know struggle ever again. The only thing on your mind is asset/wealth retention and enjoying the spoils of the millions of souls you had to screw over to get to this point. What level of wealth are you at? Feel free to comment below.